All About Bylaws. Cooperative bylaws are formal rules that govern co-op operations. Bylaws define member requirements and clarify roles and responsibilities. They address important issues like member equity, liability, and conflicts of interest. Bylaws outline what members are expected to contribute to the cooperative and how members benefit through participation. This presentation will take an in-depth look at articles commonly included in cooperative bylaws. Some state statutes require bylaws are filed after incorporation. Other states do not require bylaws to be filed. Whether or not cooperative bylaws are a legal requirement, it is always a good idea for co-op members to draft and distribute bylaws to all members. Keep in mind that individual cooperative bylaws content varies depending on the cooperative's purpose and its membership structure. An attorney familiar with cooperative bylaws can draft the bylaws to fit a cooperative's unique needs. What is the purpose of the cooperative? Merriam-Webster defines purpose as something set up as an objective or an end to be attained. Effective bylaws are built around the cooperative's purpose. Each article of the bylaw should support that purpose. For example, the purpose of a dairy marketing cooperative is to market members' milk. The first article reflects that purpose by defining the membership, limiting it to dairy farmers. The sixth article of the bylaws will reflect sharing profits with the patrons based on the amount of milk marketed through that dairy cooperative. The first article of bylaws are membership. It tells who can be members of the cooperative. Member eligibility may include or be limited to individuals, corporations, LLCs, etc. There are single and multi-stakeholder cooperatives. The dairy cooperative I mentioned above would be a single stakeholder cooperative, so the members of that cooperative must be dairy farmers. Alternatively, a multi-stakeholder model, such as a local food cooperative, might be open to producers, employees, and consumer members. Some cooperatives have more than one level of membership. An example would be a level 1 membership of agricultural producers and a level 2 membership of non-producer organizations that operate on a cooperative basis. Article 1 also addresses membership dues. It defines member contributions. Sometimes in the multi-level cooperatives, those contributions are based on the class of membership. Will the cooperative offer stock? Article 1 touches on the co-op's equity structure as it pertains to membership and voting rights. For a full discussion on securities, visit the Finance module. But for now, just as a general overview, all cooperatives offer common stock, which is also referred to as voting stock, because one share is issued to each member and entitles a member to one vote. Some cooperatives offer preferred stock. So preferred stock can be issued to both members and non-members. It's often part of a co-op's capitalization strategy. Preferred stock does not promise voting rights. Article 2 of the cooperative bylaws addresses meetings. It describes the time, place, and nature of meetings. It tells what constitutes a quorum. A quorum is the number, a specific number, or perhaps a majority, of officers or members of a body that are assembled to transact business. Article 3 describes directors and officers. Cooperative members elect a board of directors to direct daily operations. Within the board, there are elected officers, such as president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. That's pretty standard. Article 3 tells how many members serve on the board of directors and how directors and officers are elected or removed from office. Each state's cooperative statute dictates the number of members required to form a cooperative and a number of members that must serve on the board of directors. Article 4 addresses the duty of the boards of directors. It discusses directors' roles and the overall management of the co-op. It also addresses employment issues, insurance, banking, and accounting procedures. This article provides a process for appointing special committees to serve the needs of members. Article 5 addresses duties of officers. It defines each officer's duties and responsibilities within the co-op. Article 6 of the Cooperatives bylaws describes patronage systems. It tells when and how profits are shared and retained. It addresses items such as percentage allocations, how internal capital accounts are managed, the interest rates on those capital accounts, how net margins are calculated, what is subtracted from net margins before profit allocation, what happens if a member leaves the co-op, what happens if the co-op suffers a loss. It also defines the co-op's fiscal year. Article 7 of the Cooperative Bylaws addresses equity redemption. According to USDA Agricultural Cooperative Guide Information Report number 31, redeeming equity is an ownership transfer process to keep the cooperative financed, owned, and controlled by current member users. Regular redemption of equity may be provided on a revolving basis as a percentage of all equities or adjusted annually according to patronage. Discretionary redemptions of equity are made on a special basis, such as a dissolution or death of a member. Members look to Article 7 for full transparency of equity redemption process. It is up to the Board of Directors to determine what funds are available for redemption on an annual basis upon fiscal year review. Article 8 describes non-member business. Does the co-op do business with non-members? In 2017, Dairy Farmers of America discontinued doing business with non-members. Only members of Dairy Farmers of America were able to continue use of the cooperative. The decision was due based on a growth in the region's milk supply and a lower demand for milk. To read more about that information of Dairy Farmers of America, there is an article in Farm and Dairy newspaper dated May 25th, 2017, DFA now marketing only members' milk, describing the decision and how that information was shared with members. Article 9 addresses dissolution. Dissolution is termination of a member. It may be voluntary or involuntary. This article tells how assets are distributed under either circumstance. Article 10 addresses indemnification. Protects members of the cooperative from hurt, loss, or damage to the extent permitted by state law if the member acted in good faith and in a manner a person can reasonably believed to be not a. Guidance is in the cooperative statute for the state. The Cooperative 9 has an indemnification section where you can read more about the specific rules governing cooperatives in the state of Ohio. An amendment is the changing of the bylaws to reflect new decisions or directions. Members of the cooperative may vote to amend the bylaws at any time. Returning to the DFA example, the article containing non-member business was amended to reflect that they were no longer doing business with non-members. Any bylaw may be adopted, amended, or repealed by a majority of member votes cast on the adoption, amendment, or repeal. It's important to note that amended bylaws cannot conflict with the co-op's articles of incorporation. Article 12 addresses conflicts of interest. It recognizes the board and officers have a duty of loyalty to the cooperative. Directors and officers must conduct business honestly, disclose any conflicts of interest that may cause hurt or harm or are not in the best interest of the cooperative. The article also outlines a procedure to mitigate conflicts of interest. So we have standard articles that we often see within bylaws. How are bylaws adopted once we have these articles drafted and agreed upon by membership? Initially, bylaws are adopted by the board of directors. Amendments are incorporated into the bylaws by a majority vote. Then changes are reported at the following membership meeting. Thank you for attending the presentation. For more information, please visit the Co-op Mastery website to dive deep on any of these issues, and also to download a template of bylaws that you can use to explore your own cooperative bylaws.